Cheers, queers! What's on the big gay agenda today, Theora?
Today, we have a super fun episode where we're going to talk about Heartstopper because we love Heartstopper so much that we're going to dedicate a whole episode to talk about why we love this show. So, just as a disclaimer, this will not be a scene by scene breakdown of the series. We've already done that. If you want that, check out our channel, check out our podcast. That's all there. But this is just solely about why we love this incredible television show.
Yes, because 3.5 hours a week was not enough to talk about it.
No, it's never enough.
And today we have Alethea Crimmins joining us once again. You might remember her from our Young Royals episode, and if not, after this episode, go check that out because it was tons of fun. And Alethea is a great friend of the podcast, and we're so excited to have you back with us.
I'm glad to be back in the Big Gay Energy podcast because I have big gay energy, so I am ready to spread it.
Yes.
Damn, Alethea brings all the energy to this podcast.
And oh my God. And I love y'all too. Thank you so much for having me back.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. All right. Should we just jump into it, Caitlin?
Let's do it.
Please.
Alethea, where do you want to start?
Yes.
What is the biggest thing?
Oh my gosh. Geez. I just feel like the whole story was just things that normal shows don't touch on, like things that are taboo. It's like, oh, let's not talk about that. They went all in. Like they went from gay issues to mental health issues to eating disorders. It was like, wait. Like you didn't know where to go, to like identity crisis. It's like, wait. I thought that this was strictly a this show, but now it turned into a that show. And it's like, it just it really pulls you in. And Charlie, I is it's like you want to give him a hug.
Yes.
You 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 just want to reach in your screen, give him a hug and say, "You know what? It's okay. It is okay. I need you to be you. I need you to be you, and it's okay." It's like every scene I was like, I just want to hug you. But he had some amazing friends, which I love. Like he had amazing friends that did not care, and like he was so nervous about being him, being himself. Like, can I really? And that is something that I struggled with. Be Before I came out, was like, will everybody accept me? Like, will they accept who I am? Like, because, and he's so awkward, but in a cool, but he doesn't know that he's awkward in a cool way. He 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 doesn't realize, and that was me. Like, I could relate because I was the awkward kid. I was the weird kid, and but it was in a cool way that everybody else saw but him. And it was like, but then he met Nick.
The puppiest puppy dog in human form.
And he was a jock.
Yeah, like the cool guy.
What? And it was like, and that was also me. Like, how could this cool jock like ever want to be with me? Like, I'm like a nobody. And that there's Nick just comes around, and they do his little shirt off scenes, and it's like, okay, Nick. And then Charlie does it, and it's like, oh, Charlie. It's like, oh, you just look at Charlie's little chest, and it's like, oh. But 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 little did we know that he had an underlying issue.
Yeah.
Like, and that didn't come out till later on, that he had this issue that he was dealing with, that he in fact had an eating disorder. I don't recall. I think that they touched on the root of the issue, which is a lot because I had one too, and it's more about con- control. Like
Hmm.
this is something in my life that I can control. Like I can control how much I eat. Like food, food was almost the like enemy to him.
Hmm.
And I felt extremely, extremely, extremely bad for him because it was a lot of things that teenagers and young adults deal with. So I'm so happy that this show kind of touched on all these things that they don't really want us to talk about, but it needs to be talked about. Like, what do y'all think about Charlie?
Oh,
Well,
I hope.
I
Go ahead,
go ahead.
Caitlin.
You want to go?
You go. You go.
Okay. Uh, just a Heartstopper in general, they're just like, oh, this is something that people aren't talking about, so let's talk about it. And I love that it's giving teenagers a great thing to watch so they aren't constantly fed, oh, we don't talk about these things.
Mm-hmm.
You're If you have issues with food, we just do not talk about it. This one's like, oh, this is something that people go through and you might think you're alone, but you're not. And this is how other people can support you as well. And the
Yeah,
friend group
Yes,
in general is
yes.
just such a
Oh,
great support
the
system.
friends. Yeah, to your point, you're
Oh,
not alone. Like, oof.
I can't wait to talk about the friends.
But the front, like, it does, like, to your point at the beginning, Alethea, like, you think it's one thing and then it turns into another. Like, oh, you're like, oh, it's just going to be a fluffy little teenage romance, but it's not. It's so much, it's layered with so much depth, and all the characters are kind of going through their own thing. And at the end
Yes.
of the day, it's like, about how like all these relationships, like romantic and not, how all of them are important and how we support each other in different ways, because like by the end, like that group of friends is just so solid, and that's like one of the most beautiful parts of the show for me is the friend group is so supportive.
And
Like I was really expecting like a love Simon type of show. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that's how this is gonna be. No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
yeah, because you do start with Charlie and just his relationship with Nick. There's some other things going on, but you don't really get to know the characters in depth. But it's also because they are teenagers, they don't even know about themselves. So
Right.
as they're learning about themselves throughout the seasons, you're learning more, and that's how we're getting more depth to the stories, is because that's what life is like. You go from having no worries and nothing as much to figuring out who you are and realizing, oh, this is something that I need to deal with, or how do I talk to this person about this? Can I even mention this? And
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
then even,
And
who am I?
yeah.
That's the
And
big one.
speaking of figuring out who you are and who am I, my favorite character is Elle. That she is my favorite character because from the start. Now, I must say, as far as knowing who she is, Elle, from the moment she came on the scene till the moment she knew exactly who she was. She had no doubt about her, and she was not ashamed of it. She never second guessed it. She was never, oh, well, let me try to. No, like she knew exactly who she was, and I was so like, oh my gosh, like we also don't talk about that either. But there were also things that as a trans woman, she was insecure about. And it kind of especially when it came to romance.
Mhm.
I don't know if she felt like it seemed like she felt like she didn't deserve to have a loving real relationship. It's it's almost like she didn't think that she can ever have a real relationship, and she would almost self sabotage
Hmm.
because she didn't think that she would actually have a real relationship. But the relationship that she had with Tao, like that, and that was another. He he was second guessing himself
I
because he was like, "Well, am I gay? Because I know, looking at her, I know what I see, but I also know who she is. So does that make me gay?" So it was a lot of things that he was playing with, like, does that make me gay? Because I'm attracted to her? Because she's she's Elle, but then I also know her background. So it's like, so he was kind of like, should I, shouldn't I? Should I, shouldn't I? And I think that Elle kind of felt that too. And what was like, look, if you want to be with me, then be with me. But know that this is who I am. And if not, do not play with me, little boy, because I don't have time.
Tao is the straight boy we never thought we would root for so hard.
Seriously.
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
Tao is the sweetest person ever. Like, he sees Elle as Elle. It's like, it's
Yeah.
just Elle. And he wants to be good enough for her. And that was the cutest part.
So
Like, first of
bad.
all, boy, you did not have to try that hard. Very much appreciated. We tried a little too hard at times, but you can never say he did not try.
Remember he was
He
trying to make her dinner and he's like doesn't know what he's doing and he's like cooking with two
Yes,
hands and he's like, I got this,
yes.
mom. Mom's
Like
like, don't burn my house down.
and I loved how everybody's parents were so
Oh
like,
my God.
like
So
if this could be everybody's real life, because I don't know, like, in the Asian co- community, because I have a lot of Asian friends who are gay, and their parents are like, we don't. And to see that on TV, like, Tao's mom was like, get your girlfriend, like that. Like, I was like,
number one shipper.
I was like, I love his family. I love his family. And I really loved when they touched on, because Tao was like, look, I want to have sex. Like I, I want to do it. And like Elle was kind of like, how do we navigate through us doing this? And again, I've never seen a TV show that touched on that. Like, how do I navigate us
Yeah.
having sex? Like, I love you, and I want to take this next step. But how do we do that? Like, how do we make ourselves comfortable doing that?
It's almost
Yeah.
like Heartstopper is like, what do people need to see? So with
Yes,
like Tao's mom being like so supportive of this relationship, to Elle's journey navigating intimacy, because she's very confident and like knows who she is, but this is a lot more intimate experience where she is
yes,
even more vulnerable and exposed, quite literally. So this is something she hasn't had to deal with.
at all,
And
at
what people go
all.
through.
And like to your point, Alethea, like I don't think Elle ever thought she'd have a relationship that goes this far. And that's the other part where she's
Yes,
like, well, now I'm in it and this is like a Disney show. I'm like, what do I do? Like, what do I do?
yeah. And like, I knew why she had kind of started pushing him away, just like a, because she didn't know if this was real.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, it was, and that was the first time I'd ever seen her doubt herself. it was like, do do you know who I am? Like I like, and you, like, you're really wanting to be my boyfriend, and I've never had a boyfriend, so
Hmm.
I don't know how to have a boyfriend.
It's
And
almost
he wanted to be her boyfriend so bad.
Oh my god, so
the
cute.
movie theater date
You,
where he tried so
listen,
hard.
Try so hard.
and I was just like, "Ew, come on!" I was like, "Look at him! Look at him!
He's so cute.
He
It's
is."
almost as if Elle is so focused on the world accepting her that
Yes,
she couldn't think that to have a personal life.
and that
Yeah.
is very true because and L also, and that was another thing that was touched on, and I was like, oh my God, yes. L, although she loved her friends, she loved them, loved them, she still felt like she didn't fit in. Like,
Yeah.
I love y'all, and I'm only, it was like, I am only here because of y'all. Like, I'm I'm here because y'all are here, but I don't feel like I belong here. I need to be somewhere where I feel like I belong, and I don't feel that here. And that that hurt me, but I understood, and I was very proud of her when she found her own space, and she made the choice, as much as I love you, I'm going to put myself first. And if you are truly my friends, then you're going to support me in me going somewhere else and being somewhere where I'm accepted for who I am. That I was very proud of her for, finally taking that step, because she was kind of the, like, mother figure. Like, she took care of everybody. Like, she was always checking on everybody. Like, she was the one that they went to when there was an issue. And she was like, well, who do I go to? Like, where do I go? Like, I need some, like, I am everybody else's rock, but who is mine?
That's a
So
great point
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
really good point.
because she does have these friends and she is surrounded by people in the LGBTQ plus community, but there's no one
Like
who
her.
identifies the same as her, and that her experience is extremely different from everybody else. Actually, well, she does have another person to relate to now, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So she needed to find the place where there were people who had the similar experiences as her. And it was very great to meet Felix and Naomi and meet the whole school over there where she could be herself fully and know that other people understood her right away.
Yes, but then there was a moment where it she was she went to the school, and she was in her um, amazing bubble. She and she's a very talented artist.
Yeah.
And there was this moment that almost pulled her back in, when she I think her art was recognized for some, I don't remember exactly what it was, but her art was recognized, and they wanted to interview her.
Mhm.
Hmm. The radio show.
That's exactly where I was going to go next with this.
Yes. And the main topic wasn't even about her art.
No, it was gross.
And I was just like, and again, the parents, because her father was like, get get my baby out of here. We're not doing this today. And I was like, I love the parents.
And Tao being there too and be like, what do we do? Do we get her out of there? Like, what? He's like, I need to jump in. I don't know. what I can do right now. So what do I do?
But it's like, cause but just imagine thinking that you're going here to get recognized for something that she loves. Like she is like, I'm finally getting re recognition, and all you can talk about is me being trans.
It
Also, she's a
was,
minor, so that was
yeah,
also a ridiculous line of questioning for a minor.
it was definitely illegal what they did.
Yes,
I looked up laws for that
Yeah,
episode.
Caleb looked it up. It's most
really.
illegal.
Yeah, there's this whole like they could have gotten like their license taken away by not communicating and protecting this minor because
It's
she's a
like,
minor. No matter how well spoken she is, she's a
Right.
minor.
Minors can do art.
right, and it's like, how it was a almost, no, not almost. It was a how dare you
Yes. It was a
moment.
gotcha gross moment.
Yeah, it is like, how how dare you? Like it would, like you baited this girl in here,
Yes.
knowing your line of questioning, which like made me think like, so did you really not even care about her talent? Like you just wanted her in because of this?
Basically.
Like
It's
And
how
it's
gross.
how
not
dare
treating
you
her as a person. She's
at all?
treating her like an object, which is actually great to put in the season where she is dealing with this the intimacy with Tao because it again like that's she has to deal with the fact that other people just see her as a topic and an object, whereas she is a person and she does have to um, see herself and but she's always still fighting with the world. Like, I am a person. You have to see me for who I am. So she's like, how can I have this person, Tao, see all of me
When the
when
world
I'm still
doesn't even do
fighting
that.
so much? And that's exhausting. It has to be exhausting.
It
Obviously, I don't know exactly what she's going through, and so I can't speak for that, but it has to be exhausting.
I have a I when I s- started watching this, I called one of my very good friends, and I said, "Look, I need you to watch this." Like when I really started watching it, I called her and I was like, "Look, I know that you don't like watching like trans things and this and that, because she is a beautiful trans woman, and because of everything of late, her emotions have been going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, that she doesn't know what future is going to hold for her." And I was like, "Look, I need you to watch this." She called me crying.
Aw.
She was like, This, like this, I told she was like, "I am Elle, like I know
Aw.
exactly how she's feeling." And I was like, "This is why I wanted you to watch it." Like she she also feels like she'll never really fight, like she feels like she's in a box, like even though she's very confident in who she is, she feels like she's in a box. I can only date within this box. I can't date outside the box because they won't understand me. That's why it was so important. And I applaud whoever wrote this. Like, you put a straight teenage boy that fell in love with a beautiful trans girl.
I knew her throughout her whole journey too.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yes, from start to finish. From start to like, he knew Elle before Elle. Like, he knew her and loved her anyway. And it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, it I can't get over their storyline, and I like the part you brought up about like Elle kind of being this person who was super confident and knew who she was, at least on a personal level, very early on in the show, and a lot of the other characters are like, who am I? So like if you compare it to like Nick, who's like a main character, a lot of Nick's arc is like, seriously, who am I? Because like he's like, yeah, I'm the rugby guy. And then he meets Charlie, and he's like, oh God, gay thoughts, what is happening?
He was
And
like,
so but he goes through
I'm
this journey on every season to be like, okay, but like, who am I as Nick? And even in the third season, he's like, what do I do with school? Like, who am I? And so
yes.
Elle is the one who's really like, okay, Nick, for fuck's sake, like, you need to
Right,
put you first. Like, look what I did. And like, I like that she's the tough love person sometimes who's like, it's okay to put you first. And because like,
yes.
for somebody like Nick, who's such a people pleaser and like a
Very
millennial, like
much
guilty of
so.
that, we need an Elle to be like, it's okay to think about you. It doesn't mean you love your boyfriend any less, Nick. And like that, I feel like people need to hear too, because sometimes in media, there's this romanticization of like sacrifice for your partner. Like to children,
Yes.
they're all minors. And it's like,
Yes.
no, like you need to figure out who you are, Nick, because if you can do that, your relationship will be healthier. So like with Elle and Tao, like season 3 really shows us that, because season 2 is like, I think I'm gonna go away, and when she does, and like they work it out and they're better for it, and that
And
was
like
so good.
at the
Do
end,
you?
with Chow being like, "Oh, I can look for like I got to start getting a job so I can save up to go
Yeah.
visit you
When
in
you go to
Paris."
France, yeah, he's like, yeah, let's do it, like we're doing it.
Do you low key? Because I thought that as the like seasons progressed, and that and I'm literally just thinking that like as you something else that they don't talk about, it seemed like Nick and Charlie's relationship began to get toxic because they were so codependent
They were very codependent.
on one another that it started to get low key toxic. Like Nick, it w- consumed. So I was so happy when his like I think took him on vacation,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't even enjoy it. And she was like, she had to come tell him, listen, Charlie's gonna be okay. Like you can't, like you're here having fun, like you're on vacation. Like Charlie's, I know you love Charlie, but focus on you right now. But Charlie was also very cold, like he was latchy, like I need Nick at all times. And it's like, no, like you have to learn how to do things for yourself. And I was happy when they said that you need to go to therapy, which he fought tooth and nail. And it was like, go, because Nick cannot be your superhero.
Yeah.
He he
Mhm.
he can't. He can't, because he has his own teenage life, and so now he's trying to also help you with your life, and that's not healthy. It
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
it
it,
definitely went back and forth between them, because in like the beginning, Charlie was like Charlie always had this underlying mental health thing going on, whether he
yes,
recognized it or not, because he had the PTSD basically from the Ben assault stuff that happened and bullying. So like he had that going on and was dealing with that by himself, so without therapy and without really help. And then Nick comes along, and Nick's like having an identity crisis, and Charlie's like, okay, well, I have to help you through this. So like a lot of the beginning is like Charlie latching onto Nick to
Charlie.
help Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when Charlie's mental health spirals and gets really, really bad, then Nick steps in and he's like, okay, now I have to help you through this and sacrifice myself. And what I like about this story is that it goes to show that like, yes, the person having the mental health crisis, that takes a lot out of them, and we definitely see that with Charlie. But the piece that I love perhaps more is that it shows like the toll it takes on the partner that's supporting them, because like poor Nick has to
Yes,
sacrifice basically everything to help
yes,
Charlie. And when he's trying to decide to go to college, he's like, well, I think part of why he's like, I need to stay is like, he's like, if I leave, Charlie might spiral, then it's my fault.
yes,
And then we're back at the vacation scenario where he's like, I can't live my life because I'm worried about you and I'm not with you. And so yeah, and it's just, it gets very complex like in that whole dynamic. And it's like they have to break out of their codependency and figure out how to be individuals, which is very much a like teenager becoming an adult storyline, but this one's more, it's very realistic the way it goes down, because it's like teenagers can have complex lives too, and have to like
Yes.
navigate these
Yes.
things.
Teenager lives are very complex with
Totally.
My God,
between
yes.
figuring out
Totally.
where
My
you
God.
belong. But with Nick, we see from the very beginning that he makes something his whole life. So like in the beginning,
Yes.
it's just rugby and
Yep.
that world.
Marvel.
And it could it could be because we are mostly in Charlie's head. We don't really know what's going on in Nick's world. But then you get to season 2 where it's just you really see it revolve around Charlie. And then in season 3 it's like, okay, well now Charlie is gone for these couple bit. Who am I? Like he doesn't know who he is as a
No.
person, nor does Charlie, because he's just been fighting the
His own
things in his brain, which I totally understand. Like, oh, it's exhausting. But
Yes.
again, it's not fair to Nick, but he's not seeing that because Nick is always just there. He's the puppy. He's like, all right, how can I help? So Charlie doesn't know how to rely on anyone else, even when he has someone like Tori is right there, always
Oh my
there
God,
for him, and
yes.
he is not even seeing that. And
Oh, I
poor
hate
Tori.
that.
Oh, we have so much
Yeah.
conversation.
Listen.
Freaking Tori.
When it was just like, like she was the one that was kind of like not seen, not
Yeah, in the
re-
shadows.
Ever.
recognized. But I'm always there. It's like, hello, look at me. Like I am here, and nobody sees me. It's like,
Literally.
why do you not, like, do you not know that I have been here, ride or die, since day one? And it's like, I'm not getting any type of recognition, which I didn't like that.
Yeah, I agree. Because
We've
Charlie loses
But then,
himself in the Nick dynamic, and then Tori's like, "I've literally known you my whole life and been, like you said, your ride or die your whole life," and then
and
he like ignores her or like
yes,
abandons her at some point. And like, I understand he's going through mental health stuff, and he's like, "Nick is my dopamine right now. I need to get out of here." But like, then you
yes,
abandon Tori to like toxic Christmas, and it's like, what about her mental health? What about what she needs?
take
Like,
Tori and Oliver with you because Oliver is just you have to take him with you.
yeah, he's cute.
But we see it explicitly seen in this season, but if you go back from the very beginning, she is always there with that
Always.
lemonade. And like
always,
that was her checking on him,
always.
making sure that she knows
They
what's going on with him.
like she pinpointed that something wasn't right from the beginning,
Yes.
and
That's why she hovered.
he didn't want to hear it. No, nobody wanted to hear it, and she knew, she was like, y'all, like, something is going on, like, y'all can't, something is going on. No, nobody listened to her.
No.
No, nobody listened. It's like, I'm trying to help y'all see that he need, like, I'm not just doing this for attention. Like, I look, look at him, look. But people only wanted to see the Charlie that they wanted.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good way of putting it.
They didn't want to see who he really was. They just wanted to see the Charlie that they expected him to be, or the Charlie that he wanted everybody to see.
Yeah, that too. He did a lot of hiding of his
And
problems.
that's a
Yes.
very common thing in life. Like,
Yeah, for
oh,
sure. For sure.
everything's fine. And which in
It'll
turn
be
makes it
perfect.
so the people are like, oh, I can't show this because
Mhm.
people, like, again, people say, hey, how are you doing? You're not supposed to actually answer it. You're supposed to be like, good, how are
No,
you?
fine, great. But like, inside it's like, oh my God. But
It's like, oh, yeah, I just had a panic attack at the car. I'm fine. Yeah, great.
It's great.
You don't
It's
want to
fine.
know that.
Perfect.
Because how do
oh,
you respond to that?
but it was very funny to me when Tori found her person,
Michael.
Michael.
and they felt some type of way, because now she was like, well, I don't have to worry about you, or you, because now I can focus on me and my relationship. And they were like, oh, Well, yeah, let her have her moment.
Yeah.
Let her finally have somebody that sees her
Yes. Oh my
and loves
god.
Speaking
her.
of Tori's moment, Alethea, I don't know if you've read the books at all, but have you ever read Solitaire?
No.
You have to go do that as soon as you can because that is
Okay.
Tori's story,
It's
and
Tori's
that is
story.
where Heartstopper started.
Really?
Yeah. It started with Tori, actually, and Nick and Charlie were like
Really?
background characters. And then Alice was like, let's explore these gays. And then the Heartstopper comics came after. But yeah, Tori does have her own book. It's
Well,
so
what
good.
that and that's so odd because with Heartstopper,
She's in the background.
she's
Mm-hmm.
in the back
Yeah.
But
and
you get
they're
to
in the
know Tori,
forefront.
and you get to know what's
Yes.
going on with her, and
And
you'll know
Michael.
it overlaps with the show too.
Season 3. It overlaps with season
Season
3.
3. Yeah.
Oh,
So season 3, you know what's going on through her head throughout the season. It makes the season even more complex.
Yes, it does.
So
okay.
Because
definitely
Tori
go
has her
read
own
it, and then
stuff
Now,
going on.
go
so
watch it
now
because
I
it's
have to go and read the book because what? Oh,
And if you
there's a
do
lot going on.
the audiobook's read by the actor that plays Tori in the series, which is fun too. So you get to hear Jenny's voice and it just sounds like Tori is reading to you, which is lovely.
and what what is the other friend? The one who I can't think of his name, but he di- d- discovers later
Isaac,
on, yeah,
the
that
book reader.
I am
Yes.
asexual. Another thing that has never been touched on TV. He he's
So
like,
good.
I was like, oh,
I love the way that all went down with Isaac. So
yes,
Isaac, for
yes,
context,
yes.
is not in the comic books. There's a different friend that he's like kind of based off of, and the author Alice is asexual. So she like wrote this character and like gave us this representation. So it's so
Oh,
authentic because it comes from somebody who lived
oh,
this experience and just I love the way his like epiphany moment when they're in the art I forget what it is, but like the art gallery or whatever. And like he comes up to this display and he's like, with like the hearts and they're upside down and the Valentine's cards or whatever. And he's like, I don't know why, but this is speaking to me. And then like the artist comes up to him and he's talking about it and he's like putting words to the way Isaac feels. And he's like, asexual. Oh my God. Like the way it just goes, he's like,
yes,
oh my God,
yes,
yes. Like, thank you for
yes.
putting this in my feelings into words. Like that is so powerful. And
Because like at first you almost thought that he was a hater, like
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
like because like I was like he is getting on my nerves because just because you don't have nobody, like leave them. It was like he could not understand like why y'all always just touching and in love, like that's so gross. that that wasn't him. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't feel like, and he always felt like he was the third wheel.
Because he was.
He
They
Yeah,
literally
was.
yeah,
made
he
him that.
was.
That poor kid. Like, especially when you don't have that experience, you don't understand what your friends are talking about. He can't be in most of their conversations because
No,
that's all they're
no.
talking
That's
about.
all they're talking
And
about.
then
Yeah.
they don't even realize that Isaac has to read a book because they're not
Bec-
including him in that. Like, there's no other way for him to be included because he has
yeah, because
nothing to add to it because he
I
can't.
think it was Elle and Tao. They were watching a
Oh
movie,
my God.
and they were
Yes.
supposed to. They were all supposed to be watching a movie, and Elle and Tao just like start laughing and like making out, and he's just like you know what, y'all can have it. I'm
Right.
leaving,
Gross.
and they're like, what do we do? It's like,
Like, really? Really? That, I mean, that was rude. That was really
yes.
rude.
It was like because he was almost like he was thinking, okay, we're all friends, and just because y'all are together doesn't mean that we can't be friends. Like
Yeah.
we we all started out as friends, so let's keep this friend thing going. Like, why
It's
do we have
kind of
to?
like the fear of like when you're in a friend group and two of the friends start dating, you're like, okay, well now I'm just gonna be cast aside. I don't have these friends
Yeah.
anymore. And I do love that
Yeah.
Heartstopper didn't just let the friendship fizzle out, because again, a lot
Hmm.
of times that's probably what happens. They do talk through it and they're like, okay, well you need to realize that there are other people around, and you could be trying to have a summer of romance, but you cannot just cast aside all your other friends to try and be the perfect boyfriend Tao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. And I really like, because I'm going back and forth in my head, thinking of things as far as Nick and Charlie went. I love when, like, Nick loved Charlie so much that he wanted to like save him so badly. Like, even after he was having therapy or whatever, and he would try to like kind of make him eat, like, here, eat, like, here, eat. And like Charlie was like, just stop, just stop it. But Nick was it it was like you can feel him, like, thinking, I don't I don't want you to die. So I
Yeah.
need you to do it. It was, and it was
It's
so,
desperate.
yes,
It's
like
desperate.
you can feel it. He was like, could you just eat this, please? Just like, when, because I I think that they went to the park, or they went somewhere, and like everybody else was like eating,
Yeah.
and Nick was like, hey, why don't you eat this, or why don't you try? And he had a whole meltdown and was like, no, I'm not eating, just leave me alone. And Nick was, and here comes Al. here, here, here comes Elle. Like, just let him be, like, always the mom. Always the mom.
Speaking of the mom though, you know who else is the mom of the friend group? Tara.
Tara,
I forgot
my
about, oh,
beloved. Oh my god, yeah, Tara. Tara's the mom that like brings the snacks, has the schedule, like gets the kids out of the house on time. She's that mom, like organized to the T mom.
I forgot about, yes.
I love her so much. Oh my gosh, she goes through it too. Speaking of identity crisis with her too, she has like is especially in season 3, she has the more subtle identity crisis that a lot of people I felt her plotline, at least as a millennial, with like the perfectionism stuff, that where she's like, I don't know who I am if I'm not chasing perfection. And as she's chasing perfection, because that's what people expect of her, she's like, do I even want this? Do I want Oxford? Do I want head person at school? Like, do I even want all these things? But like, I've been pushed out of love by my mom, my teachers, this and that. And I love that she goes through that. And then with Darcy, like their relationship has always been super solid. Like, and Darcy goes through identity exploration through like gender expression and things like that. But the way those two constantly find ways to support each other while being individuals, like they have one of the healthiest relationships on the show. I would say they're not codependent. Like they end up in the
No.
situation where like Darcy does rely on Tara because like
Yes.
mom kicks them out, and so, which is terrible, but like, so Tara's like, I have to, because like you're a minor, and so like I have to help you in this seemingly codependent way. But like, I love that Tara also, like Elle, is like, listen, Darcy, I need my own space. Like that, like
Yes.
she's not
Yeah.
afraid to have
She,
these conversations where Tara does put herself first, and Darcy respects Tara, even though Darcy's crushed by this conversation because Darcy's like, this is my dream scenario as like getting married and shit. But like, it's like, I
yes.
understand, I respect you, I love you. Yes, let's fix
Like,
this.
she was, because Darcy was like really on some like le- lesbian U-Haul type shit. It was
Yeah, let's
like,
U-Haul, girl, let's
it
do it.
was like,
Good dream.
let's
Tara's
do
like, I
it.
need my own
Like,
room.
and she, and you can kind of like see it happening, because
Yeah.
at first Tara was like, yeah, okay, we're gonna move in, like, yeah, cool, cool, cool. And it was the like honeymoon stage. But
Hmm.
then it was like, this is too much time together. Like, I can't even focus.
Yeah.
Why are you always here? Like, I need my own space. Like, I love you. I love you. I want to be with you, but you got to get out my face.
Yeah, I need space. Also, you're messy as fuck, and I'm not. And
Oh
like
my gosh, yeah.
that's a lot for like a kid to deal with too. And you're like, this is my room, and you're making it a mess. Like, love you, but you
Ye-
need to get out because like that. I'm sure that was driving Tara crazy from
because
her like
she was like,
perfectionism standpoint.
raised differently. Like,
Correct. Yeah. Oh, very
she
differently.
was raised totally different, and Darcy was more free. And it's
Neglected. Yeah.
like,
You're just more
yeah,
neglected.
yeah.
So Darcy's like, let me get out of this house. Yeah.
And
And
we see a
I
similar journey to Nick in this season with
Yes.
Tara, because it's the same thing. Oh, I need to be there for
Everybody else.
my partner and not worry about myself. Meanwhile, Darcy's not seeing what's going on with Tara either. And there's so much happening to the point where Charlie is the one who has to step in and help Tara through a panic attack, even though he is super
Yeah.
drunk, apparently.
Yes, 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 yes. I do remember that, and I was like, oh my God, like, she is, like, this is really affecting her. And codependent relationships do that. When I first got with my wife, I remember, like, I hadn't fully healed yet, and I saw how very strong she was and how she had it all put together. So when I started dating her, like, I almost had the expectation that I wanted her to help heal me, and I put that on her. And I because I didn't love myself, I wanted her to love me enough for me and her. And that was a heavy load for her to carry. Like, I don't know how we lasted this long. But at first, that was a heavy load. And whenever we were watching it, she was like, babe, like, you were Charlie for like a hot minute. And I was like, yeah, 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 because everywhere that my wife went, I had to be right there. Like, it's like I could not, like, you could not go anywhere without me, because I felt like if I wasn't with you, my life would fall apart.
Yeah.
And Nick kind of already had his life planned out. Like, his life was like, when we met Nick's life was like this. And it almost looked like Charlie just came in and just,
Blew it up. Yeah.
so it's like, what do you do? But you want to root for them, but then it's like, damn, Nick, like, you had a whole life plan, so now what?
Yeah, and it's interesting for Nick because yeah, it's kind of like he gets blindsided by Charlie a little bit, but when we get more into Nick's point of view, Nick admits he's like once I met Charlie and started hanging out with Charlie more, he's like was I even happy with what my life was before? He's like
Yes.
it was one of those relationships where he's like I had superficial relationships with my like rugby friends where we talked about rugby and like video games but nothing else. So we did they weren't
But
real
that's it.
friendships the way like Charlie, Tao, and Isaac talk about literally everything and have like such a solid friendship. And Nick's like, wow, I was actually missing this thing I didn't know I was missing. And so when he starts integrating with that friend group and becoming real good friends with Tara, I love their friendship, especially because it starts out
Yes.
with like, you're a boy, I'm a girl, let's date. And then they're like, wait a minute. And so I love that
Yeah,
they become
it's
really good
like,
friends. Oh my God. Nick's like, yes, this is what I was missing. So like he discovers these things because of Charlie, but then it turns into like in season 3, Nick's like, who am I without Charlie? Because like now I know more about me, but if he's gone, will I not? Like, so then it becomes he kind of spirals into the codependency because he's like, who am I without Charlie? Because Charlie changed my life. Like, you know, so it's a lot for Nick.
yeah, it like kind of helped Nick discover who he really was
Yes.
outside of everything. Like this is really me, and that's okay.
Yes, that is okay. It's okay to discover things about yourself.
I want to go back really quickly to the codependent relationship and something you said, Alethea, with they want the person to love them enough for the both of them. And I think that's something that was going on with Darcy and Tara too, because
Oh my
Darcy was
gosh,
growing
yes.
up with parents who did not accept them at all and did not feel that love. So with Tara not kicking them out, but asking for space and Darcy going to live with Gran, I think that was the best thing that could have happened for them, because now they were finally supported by like one of the best grandmothers
Oh my
ever.
god. The best grandmother ever.
In
I love her.
life. In
I
life.
love Gran.
I
I
love
was I
Gran.
was like, why can't more people just be like this? And she was like,
Right.
come on, like
Come on, Gran.
I love you. I was like, and it's the respect
Yes.
that she had for D- Darcy. And a
Yes.
lot of people, even though they say that they love you, they don't respect who you are. And it was the level of respect. Like, I am not going to address you in any other way than how you want to be addressed. Like, I love the level of respect and the level of understanding
Mm-hmm.
that Gran had when it came to Darcy, because especially at that age,
Yes.
because we all know that people of a certain age, that they're like, what?
Right.
We don't. It's either
What?
boy or girl. Like, what do we do? Like, we can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just showing someone of that age having that type of love and like understanding was really a good thing to show. It was so many good things to show on TV.
Yes.
Finally,
Agreed. Agreed.
You know
Oh.
what else was
finally.
great? Really quick. Uh Imogen's storyline as well. We get to see a lot more of Imogen's arc this
The
season.
comp het storyline, another storyline that's not talked about enough and is so
Yes.
relevant. Yes. Oh, I love that storyline.
It's so many characters. It's
I know,
like
right?
it's so many it's like you forget, like, oh well, there's this one too. I totally forgot about her.
Oh, Imogen, and then again, I'm Imogen and Sahar, they're always in my mind. Okay, because first of all, Sahar is just I want that confidence. I want that
Yes. So
security
much
in
confidence.
yourself. Like, love them. But Imogen and her monologue with
Weirdness. Yeah, yeah.
Nick at that the hotel, and just being like, I don't think I actually ever was into you
No,
or any other guys I dated.
like, yeah, I might have been seen as a whore, but that's not really who I am.
Well, she's like basically her whole thing was like I was there for the male attention because that's what I thought I was supposed to do as a girl. But she's like, I actually don't
Raise his
want any of
hand.
that. Right.
Raise his hand. Like, I love my kids. I love them. But the sole reason that I started dating men was because I was told that I was supposed to.
Right.
Like, that's what I was supposed to do. And when they basically told me that me being gay was a mental issue, and yeah,
Wow, I'm
yeah,
so sorry.
yeah, and made me feel as such, um yeah, I was like, oh, well, you want me to be straight? Well, now I'm just gonna be with every guy, because so because I didn't know what else to do, and I felt like I needed to prove a point, but I hated myself even more because I didn't want to do this. I mean, I had beautiful children that came out of it, and I do not regret it at all. But I just wish that it would have been on my terms and not because it was an expectation. And I feel like for her, it was, I was expected to be this way. I was expected to be with guys. I was expected to be with the jock
Yeah.
because that is the expectation. But really, I don't even like dick like that. I don't
Yeah, basically that's that conversation. And it's just, I feel like that is a lot of people's stories, especially when you grow up in like patriarchy type societies like the one in America that we're subjected to. So like it's
I like
more
Christian.
Christian values, yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's like I feel like it's so many people, so many women's journeys, or even men too, who are like forced to be, into compet situations that like don't want it
Nick.
either. Yeah, like Nick, exactly. Or like if Isaac lived in a really strict household, that could also be his story very easily. Where he's like, I don't want anybody, and I'm being forced into this. So like to have that on screen, I think is really important, especially teenagers who are figuring out who am I, to come to that realization to be like, wow, my whole life's been a lie. Who am I? Like, I think that's important because like it's okay. And then the silver lining of that was that Nick was there and he's like, you're my friend. I'm here to support you. Like, you're not alone while you're figuring out who you are. I think that is a really good message, period. Yeah.
I think this like whole show sums up. It's okay to be who you are.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
that is the whole premise of the. It's
That's the show.
okay. It is okay for you to reinvent yourself if need be.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be in the box. It's okay to want this, but then like, no, maybe I want that. It's okay. We 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 are different versions of ourselves every single day, and that's okay.
Just
Yes.
because you haven't figured out one day doesn't mean it's won't change,
Yes.
and that's okay.
Like
Okay.
stories change, and that's okay.
Okay. That's a really good message. And I would like to use this to transition to our listener comments.
Yes.
Before we get into that real quick, we're going to interrupt this video to bring you a few brief shout outs from our lovely Chaos crew over on Patreon. Now,
Ooh.
as always, we really appreciate and just can't believe all the support we get through Patreon, but also through YouTube and all other platforms on social media. We love hearing from you and just seeing what you love about the media we talk about and fangirl. Because, like, well, fan human. We
Fan human.
shout all the time with people over on our Discord too. So make sure you come join our Discord and all of that. So our Chaos crew members on the Big Gay Ride or Die tier and above are Dana W, Kate V, Angela, Amix, Amix New Monzone _ multi, I believe it's supposed to be, Natalia, Danny, Amix, whatever.
Yes.
Natalia, Danny, Cassie M, Jill L, Regina B, and Monet F. And our featured big gay supporter members for this episode are Nikki, Meredith, and M Willis 24. Thank you
Thank you
so much,
guys.
all of you, for supporting us.
We appreciate each and every one of you. And thanks for getting it up all over the place. All right. So we'll get started with our listener comments from Blue Sky. So just in advance, thank you to everybody that participated. We did put polls out there to ask what you loved about Heartstopper. We got some really, really good responses that we're going to share and kind of talk about. So we'll start first with our responses from Blue Sky. So we got one from Spencer. Thank you, Spencer, who's been engaging with us. It's been lovely. So Spencer says about why they love Heartstopper. It's a lovely story with plenty of cute moments, and the amount of representation is really cool. Heartstopper has become my favorite show of all time. Watching it provided me with lots of personal affirmation as well as enlightenment on topics I'm less educated on. Fingers crossed for season 4.
Yes.
Yes to all of that.
Yeah. Especially
they really queer it up all over the place in that show.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that touches really nicely on what we keep saying, where it's like, these are storylines I've never seen in media before, or never seen done properly or correctly. And so enlightenment on topics I'm less educated on, boom. I think that's an amazing reason about why people should watch Heartstopper. Just that on its own.
Definitely, yes.
Definitely. Okay, over on TikTok, our first comment is from JD108. And they said, it showed the happy ending my younger self deserved, but never could see as a possibility due to all the negative portrayal of queer people at the time.
Jeez.
Yeah. Nobody dies in this show because they're queer.
Yes.
I laugh because trauma, not because
I laugh
it's
because
funny.
trauma.
It's just because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
that was what I grew up with, and like, what is not subliminal
Yes.
messaging to queer people?
Like you too can have your happy ending.
You too cannot get killed by stray bullets.
But it's like it's okay. Again, Alethea, what you were saying,
Yeah.
it's okay to be yourself. That
And
it's
be
not going to be
happy.
this always negative.
And be happy.
You can find happiness. You just have to find your people,
That
and that's what they
it's
did in this show.
especially
Find your
Elle. She
people.
found her tribe. You have to find your tribe and know that it's
Yep.
okay to have more than one tribe, because Elle had
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
friends,
Oh yeah.
but then she had her people. Like, these are my people. So
Yes.
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I like what you just said there, and I will add the scene. I think that encapsulates that really nicely. Is when Elle, Tara, Imogen, and Nick are on that journey to check out all the colleges, and they're in the car, and they just came from Kent, and everybody's like, nah. And Elle's reason for nah is basically like, Elle's like, I need to be with
Yes.
queer people. I need to go somewhere to
Yeah,
be with my people. Like, she
my
explicitly
people.
says that. So,
And
like,
it's like that,
my
and
people.
it's
Yeah.
like they were like, well, we're gay. Yeah, but
Thank hell.
you're not like me.
No,
You're
but
not like me.
right, you're not artistic. Yeah, you don't have the same hobbies as me outside of like we've known each other because of
Yep.
location and etc. But like, yeah. So okay. Next one from TikTok is Cory Phoenix. This is kind of a similar sentiment, but still worth reading. So Cory says about why they loved Heartstopper, healed parts of childhood where I could have experienced joy, but due to circumstances of society
Mm,
at the time, it was never possible. It gives me hope for future generations that they can experience.
yes.
Also, yes. I always say my
Oh my
younger
God,
self
yes.
needed this show, you know?
But I also love, Cory, that you're talking about hope for future generations, because we should be
Yeah.
hoping that the generations after us get it to easier. They shouldn't
Harder.
have to fight as hard as the people who have already fought those
Yeah,
fights.
there's a
Unfortunately.
reason that people fought these battles, so that we wouldn't have to. So there's no reason that we should have to re fight constantly when these battles were already won for us to have the rights that we now have. Like, people have already fought so that me and my wife can legally be married. I like People already fought so that the last name on my social security card and my license matches my wife's. Like, I don't want to have to go backwards.
And if we keep
Agreed.
fighting the same fight, we're not going to get anywhere. So why do we want to keep fighting? Why do we want people later to fight the same thing
Yes.
and make less progress? Again, that is what we're seeing happen right now,
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
which is gross. I will say there's a moment in the show that does encapsulate what Cory's saying really, really nicely. So, and it goes through Charlie. So, if we remember at the very beginning of the show, Charlie gets bullied. When he
Yes.
came out, he got super bullied. Then he got in that like toxic relationship with Ben, where he was basically
Mhm.
assaulted and psychologically bullied again. And then when we jump to season 3, I think the hope for a future generation part is when the teachers come up to Charlie and they're like, hey, can you be head student? And when he fills out the application, one of his big motivations, Charlie, is to stop bullying. So like that's hope for future generation, right? There's Charlie who went through the struggle of being bullied because he was queer. And he's like, well, if I can get in a position of power, I'm going to change it so nobody else who comes after me gets bullied. So there's your hope for the future generation right there with Charlie, who we see in like a short time
Oh,
period on
I
screen.
also
And
totally
then we see it through the
forgot
Yusuf.
about, can we
Yusuf.
have more teachers like this? That's that
Yes.
that
Oh my God. I love the
created
teachers.
a safe
They're so
space.
cute.
He
Specifically, yeah, like
specifically
specifically create the
created
safe
a
spaces.
safe space for Charlie. And I love the
Yes.
scene where, because Charlie eats lunch in there. And I love the scene where Nick said, I'm gonna go meet you where you are. Like, I'm gonna go in your space. And Charlie allows him into his safe space where they have lunch. I'm just like, we need more teachers like this, man. We need more teachers like this.
That's such a good
We,
point.
Just to create that safe space.
but I just want to touch on the generation thing real quick because we do see that with Yusuf, Farouk,
Mr.
right?
Farouk.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I was like, why am I blanking on the last name? I always only called him by his last
No.
name, and now
Mr.
because
Farouk.
I tried to say his first name. So, Mr. Farouk, you see that powerful scene of when he was a little boy sitting in the same chair as Charlie, and you see how it's still not great for him, but it's gotten better because Farouk wasn't even able to be himself until
Yes.
this show. We see it happen.
As an adult.
But Charlie is able to still be himself at high school. So we are seeing the progress. It's not perfect, but it's there. And the power that you see, like Farouk being like, oh, this was me. And this Charlie's living
Yes.
what I wish I could have.
And it's just, yeah. Yeah,
It's just beautiful.
it really is to, it's like you you're living my dream. And
Yes.
yeah,
And he's
it
happy for
was,
Charlie too, not
it was
resentful, which
almost
is
like a
important.
Yeah.
th- thank you. Like, thank you for like
Yeah.
showing me
Yeah.
what this looks like. It was like, thank you.
Could have been.
So I just love that.
That's why he knew that Charlie needed to be
Yes,
head boy. So to
yes,
make it even better.
yes. I was just like, it's so many great moments that, like, we can literally talk about this for because it's so many great
It's
moments.
so good.
Like, it's, I would dare to say that it was a lot of made for TV moments, and we need to have more of these made for TV moments, because a lot of teenagers, shit, even adults deal with this, but it's never talked
Yeah.
about. It's when people talk about gay, it's more se- sexualized, and
Yes.
it it's
Yes.
not what this show does. It's not finding out who I am, going through different things, navigating through life to understand who I am. It's more than just sexuality. It's more than just that. So I hope that more shows take note and see, like, it's more than just sexuality, or like de- denying that I'm gay, be, being on the DL. It's so much more than that. It's it's mental too. Very mental.
100 million
Oh.
percent. Yes. Absolutely.
All right. So our last comment from fans are okay. Oh my gosh, that whole line was terrible. So our last comment from TikTok is from Nina, and they said it made me realize friends are supposed to care about you and be
A
there for
hundred
you,
percent.
and it changed my life because I now no longer
Yes.
accept less than that. And
Absolutely.
yes,
Yes.
growing
Absolutely.
up, you have superficial friendships. You don't know
Thi-
what they're supposed to be.
this.
And again, in media, especially American media, you're seeing backstabbing, superficial, them act like adults. Theora's biggest pet
I
peeve.
hate
It's like
that so much.
friendship looks like this. Like even
Yeah.
even when and the level of communication between these
Yes.
friends, even when I'm mad at you, I'm going to communicate. I'm not gonna act like a toddler. I'm gonna communicate why I am upset with you, and we are going to sit at this table and we're going to work this shit out, because at the end of the day, you are my friend and I don't want to lose you.
Yes.
With the exception of
Yeah,
the Isaac and Tao
yeah,
fight at
yes,
the zoo, I believe it was.
yes.
Yes. And who gets them to stop being children? Elle, who's like, Tao, sir.
Yeah,
You're acting like a dumbass. Please stop it.
I thought that was awesome. That she was like, let me go talk to my man, and not tell him what he wants to hear, but tell him what he needs
Yeah.
to hear. Like, you were wrong. Like,
Yeah. And
yes,
she executed it really well too. She was like, you're
yes.
being immature right
And
now,
it's
Tao.
like,
Think about that.
regardless of what role you have in my life, I am not going to sugarcoat shit. Like, I am going to tell you that
Yeah.
you were wrong.
She does tough love a lot and she does it really well and not in like a mean,
No.
condescending way. It's very much in a you need
Yes.
to do this right now way. Like, I'm telling you this because I love you. And to add to like the friendship, what Nina said, I agree with that whole statement. I think that's so important because again, this show also shows you like it's okay to like and encourage to tell your friends you love them and mean it because they have a lot of scenes where Charlie's just tells his Isaac and Tal I
Yes.
love you
Yes.
as a friend. And like that's so good. That's important. So I love that.
Oh, there's so much to talk about with Heartstopper. It's hard to stop gushing about it because
Yeah,
there's always
right.
something else you're
It's
like, oh
because,
yeah, and this happened because they pack it in and just naturally too. It's not even forced. Nothing is forced in the
I
show.
really hope that they have another season, because I need to see how, like, I need to see how Ellen's Tao's relationship plays out with, like, moving forward. Like, I need to see how these relationships, like, I need to see how Gran and Darcy are doing. Like, is she better? Like,
Buddy cop movie.
I I need to know
Like
what's
that
going
movie.
on. Has Charlie, like, is he in a better head space? What college did Nick go to? Is is he doing well?
Yes.
Are they even still together? And if they are, how are they navigating through being independent without each other? I need answers. We
You hear
need
that,
Yes,
Netflix?
answers.
speaking for the
We
group.
need answers.
So Netflix,
Please,
don't
because
screw it up.
and
Yeah,
don't
look it up, man.
cancel it like
Mm.
you do every other good show. Jeez.
Okay, at the very least, at least we've
Yes.
made it to season 3,
I
which
know
is
that is an
progress in
accomplishment.
itself, unfortunately. But
Me
yes, I'm a little
too.
scared right now. But
I need more.
yes, we all need more. But at least we still do have the graphic novels. There will be one more, and then hopefully Alice,
Keeps
maybe,
writing.
yeah, just keep writing
Man.
Just keep
because
writing.
you're great.
We love you.
Okay, so yeah, hopefully there is a season 4, and we can have you back and talk about that because I don't know. I feel like we'd still have you back to talk about
So
Heartstopper. There's still
much.
so much more
There's
to
so
talk
much.
about. But usually I give a secret word at the end of these episodes to if people are still watching or listening, and they can comment or leave a review with that word. But this episode, I'm actually going to ask you a question. And I just want to know what made you feel seen in Heartstopper? Let's start
Ooh.
a discussion around that. Because there's always that maybe something small that other people would be like, "Oh, it's just there." but it made someone else be like, I
Ooh.
see myself. So let's talk about that. Let's have a
Yeah, leave us a
discussion.
comment.
Yes,
I want to know. That's a
yes.
really,
I
really
would
good question.
love, I would love to see and hear all of those comments because I know that there will be a lot of them. What what
Yes.
what was your
Yes,
moment
totally
that just
agree.
made you feel like, yep, yep. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good
let us know in the
question.
comments. Ooh,
Right.
what a good place to end it,
High
Caitlin. I love it. All
Thank you.
right. So that was why we love Heartstopper. Thank you, Alethea. We appreciate hearing all of your thoughts about Heartstopper. This has been really, really fun. And to everybody home, again, thank you to those who participated in the episode. Hope you appreciated your shout out. We loved your comments. Whatever's in store for the future for Heartstopper, we'll be back to talk about Volume 6 and hopefully Season 4 in many ways because we just love this show so much. But until we are going to sign off for now. So until next time, hydrate for lesbian Jesus.
And gay it up all over the place.
Bye.
Bye.
And with that, we've been Big Gay Energy. If you like this episode, check out all our other episodes right here on YouTube.
Please like, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more amazing super gay content.